It's just another video for you, and today's video, as you can tell by the title of the video and the beginning of the video, be a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. If you like button, subscribe and share this video. Actually, get into the review, just a little bit of spoiler warning. This review will be a spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home, so if you guys haven't seen it, I suggest go watch it first before you watch this review. Out of the way, onto the review. Basically, Spider-Man No Way Home takes place after Far From Home, so it starts off like literally where it left off from, so when that post-credit scene, end credit scene, when Mysterio reveals in front of the world that Peter Parker's Spider-Man is leaves off from there, like the after effects. So essentially, you have some people who like him, some people who actually think that yes, he's a hero, but then there are a lot of people who hate him. They blame him for the death of Mysterio because they think that Mysterio is like this hero, when really, obviously, as the audience, we know that he actually wasn't. Then basically it shows him and MJ on the run, and obviously quite a lot of people are shocked, and then even a lot of people pelting stuff at him and trying to harass him, trying to take his mask off. And obviously J. Jonah Jameson, who, as you know, not from the original Spider-Man, as well as comics and stuff, always hated him, so it's another reason for him to hate him. And then it shows that Peter goes home and Happy and MJ Happy and Aunt May still having their summer fling thing, and it's like Happy obviously still liking her. She's like, it's just a casual thing, isn't it? So then it shows that they're both shocked as well to see that the news that revealing Peter's identity, and the news people saying around and being trying to harass him, being like, what's your secret, what are you trying to hide, type thing, blah blah blah. And then it shows that he runs away and he ends up at Happy's house, stays there for a bit. Shows that they've obviously been arrested, because it's before that as well, and stuff. Eventually, him and MJ and Ned being arrested and taken him for questioning, you said to Joe to kill your murderer, blah blah blah. So then to save him, they have a cameo from Daredevil, who a lot of people actually said that yes, he would be a Peter's lawyer, and he actually was. And for those who don't know, Daredevil, is actually that one that plays him is the one that plays him in the Daredevil TV show, same person. So eventually Peter's also waiting for not just interview, but also acceptance thing, basically. So whether he's actually not just from the public as Spider-Man, but also waiting for from MIT and other colleges. So then him, Ned and MJ, even Flash, they get letters, a lot of them are rejecting Peter, obviously him being Spider-Man and stuff. And then the final letter comes from the final college, which is the MIT, saying that, been rejected from it, as well as those two, Peter because he's Spider-Man, and Ned and MJ because just being associated with it. But somehow Flash actually got in. So that Peter decides that because of him being Spider-Man has ruined a lot of people's lives, including being MJ, Ned, Aunt May and Happy and everyone at risk. So he decides to go to Doctor Strange, to try and reverse things, so everyone forget that, what Mysterio said. If you're forgetting that he's also Spider-Man. But Wong warning them don't do the spell, it's just going to end up in disaster. So, but Peter and Doctor Strange don't listen to him, and they still do the spell. But then Peter obviously interrupting the spell and being let's everyone forget except for MJ and then Ned and then Aunt May and Happy, interrupting him and to forget the spells. So it just goes intertwined and basically messes up everything, and it just goes like haywire. We basically get introduced to the whole thing about like the multiverse, which obviously we got introduced to starting from Loki, but now introduced to the movie where he says, oh, because of the thing everyone still knows, but because the spell being messed up, it's opened the multiverse stuff. So a lot of different things from this timeline, this universe, different stuff like going through to put it in, and so here's the box, and then he finds out that if like, and because of it, like, there might be different Spider-Mans and different villains from that universe, wherever like send them back. So Peter realizes that, and then he says to takes that box, which can send them back. So instead, he decides instead of that, let's do something different, try to save them. So then he eventually finds that when he goes to meet this lady who actually like was part of MIT, the admissions lady, she's getting attacked, and then Peter's about to try and talk to her, but then get introduced to the first villain, which is the Doctor Octopus from the Sam Raimi universe, and played by, well, I can't remember his name, but the actual Doctor Octopus, who came from the timeline of when he was from Spider-Man 2, where he's about to drown, and then the sun thing, and then that's when the portal opened and sent there. And he finds Peter thinking it's his Spider-Man. It's the things that it's the Tom Holland Spider-Man. No, Tom Holland, sorry. He doesn't know it's the Tom Holland one, but he thinks it's his Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one. And then eventually, after this Peter is able to calibrate it because the actual octopus arms are actually nanotech, so you have to do that, especially because when you went like that to Peter, it fused together, so now Peter's able to control it, so it saved the thing, and actually did that to Octopus, so able to control him and ended up saving the woman. And the lady even says, I'm going to try and talk to the missions and stuff and try and get you in, you MJ and Ned, because to me, you're a hero. I don't know why people think you're a villain or a murderer. To me, you're a hero. I'm going to let everyone know that as well. So then he sends him to Doctor Strange's, his house underground, like the prison thing. And at the same time, so he had before that, he had as well Doctor Strange and Peter fighting, and then Doctor Strange got sent to stuck in some different multiverse thing, trying to make his way back. So then eventually different open. So he had before that as well, it was Green Goblin. Then after you find out there's you had Lizard who was kidnapped and saved in there, and Lizard from the not from second, but from the what do you call it? The Amazing Spider-Man, so the Andrew Garfield one. So then there's Peter makes a new suit, it's a stealth suit, and modifies the thingy to send those villains that are coming from the multiverse, from those worlds, into that prison. So then Peter finds this stress thing and finds out that another portal is open, and comes out Electro, and that same Electro from the Andrew Garfield world where the Lizard came from. So before he died, and then but then it's revealed as well that Sandman from the Tobey Maguire one, the first one, he came as well as a hero, and then both of them get sent to the thing, and both find out that this Peter isn't their Peter, whether Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire one. And then Peter decides to save them and help them, and then because Green Goblin's there, and then turns back into Norman Osborn, and he's still in that PST thingy, and it's Green Goblin trying to take over, and then goes back to Norman, back and forth, and then it's revealed as well that the villains are actually, who obviously from Spider-Man worlds, their Spider-Man worlds, as the point in time that they came is actually from the point in time before they died, before they get killed by their respective Spider-Mans. So then Green Goblin gets sent into that thing as well, he got saved, and it turns out before they ended up in the Supercushion place where Aunt May works. But then eventually Peter takes all of them and try and like save them and then, so for example, like Dr. Octopus having like, because the chip, it gets controlled as well, because like when you had the chip and it got destroyed as well, like it's, gave a virus in his brain, like actually like making him like negative thoughts, making him really angry type person. But then Peter managed to like put a virus in it to modify it, so now everything's all like open and clear. It's back to being the normal Dr. Octopus, the Otto Octavius, and then he tried to do the same for everyone else. And it's also revealed as well that Peter has like Tony Stark like arc reactor as well. But eventually the villain revealed like is Green Goblin's fully taken over, and Peter's spider sense are going out of control. And there's like a massive fight. Aunt May eventually dies, gets killed. Peter feels remorseful, and then tries to hunt the things down. And then eventually that Ned actually has magic. That's a big surprise. Like, wow, that's good. And then there's like that thing that Strange does, and the first portal opens and tries to, because this Peter, which is the Tom Holland, is on the run and hiding and decides to go solo, try and find the villains, because like his angry revenge, and because Happy got arrested, Aunt May's like dead and stuff. So then the first portal opens and in comes Andrew Garfield. And yes, those people that actually guessed it right, yes, all three Spider-Man are in the film. With a spoiler, yeah. So the first one comes, and the point in time that he comes from is from sometime after Gwen dies, and it reveals that he became this angry, destructive person not remorseful person, showing no mercy, like bang, beating villains and thugs and showing no remorse, and essentially becoming, to quote J. Jonah Jameson, a menace. So then Ned decides to have another portal to try and find their Peter, but it reveals, and out comes the one and only Tobey Maguire, the original Spider-Man, and then eventually they find their Peter and they send him, comes here, and then, because what it is, the Tobey Maguire one is obviously after Harry had died, way after, and then through Peter's decide, all three of them agree, let's save their respective villains and their like history of like the villains and about themselves, their universes, and even they get talking as well, because they help Peter to actually the Tobey Maguire one to let go and carry on fighting, and so they do, and then eventually they call upon the villains, and eventually after big fights and Doctor Strange comes back, and then Peter has saved everyone and made them normal again, and then in the last was Green Goblin who came. Peter was like, this time I'm not going to try and save you, I wanted to originally, but now, because you killed Aunt May, I'm going to kill you. But then Tobey Maguire, remembering what his Aunt May had said, which is that Spider-Man doesn't kill, he's about to stab him with the glider, and he gets saved, but then Green Goblin stabs him. But luckily, this Peter, the Tom Holland, was actually able to save Green Goblin, which is good. Holland Peter eventually realises that because him being Spider-Man has put everyone at risk. So he asked Doctor Strange to do the original spell, which makes everyone forget. And it does, and sends that's the villains and the two Spider-Mans back to their respective timelines and universes. So then it's shown that Peter is actually visited Aunt May and doesn't reveal to Harry that he knows Aunt May because it's his aunt. He pretends that he knows it because of Spider-Man, and then it's shown his own apartment, so he doesn't have Stark Tech, he's on his own, no MJ, no Ned. He's a normal teen, to create his own spider suit, and then because he wants to go to tell MJ and Ned who he is, but decides against it. It's better to keep them away from spider life and stuff, and pretend they don't know him as well. And then showing that the suit that Peter actually made is actually the comic accurate classic red and blue Spidey suit. And then at the end you have two credit scenes where the first one is where Eddie Brock was there as well, and then they get sent back to their respective time period and universe, and then but leaving behind Venom, hinting at that we might get Venom like in the future, like Peter becoming it, so it's there. And then the second one is a trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So my thoughts on it is like really good, like great action, great comedy, great like visual effects, good cameos as well, great story, and quite interesting as well to see about this Peter, the one that we're following, how his life is going to be now, and it's good to see like how it takes place after as well, like the effects how it affected his school life. Now I'll be interested to see, and like interesting enough in the future about his college life as well. And I want to say I really enjoyed it. It's like really good. What do I give Spider-Man No Way Home? I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Because at the end of the video, I'm there wishing you can love it and subscribe and share this video. And if you're new here, subscribe, check out my channel for previous videos. And put comments below what videos you want to do, so I can do them, whether it's a film review or food review, let me know. And also remember, so this is my opinion as well of like films, what I think. And I shall see you guys next time. Till then, signing out. Bye.